All of last week was sunny, 70 degrees. Beautiful, beautiful. Felt like summer. It's actually quite hot. Now today it's cloudy. Got some rain. It's nice. Today I wanted to talk about book reviews and why I think book reviews don't really have an end to them. I never really knew booktube existed until I started looking up book reviews for books that I wanted to read. I like to do my research before I pick a book to dive into. I like to see if that book is something I would enjoy or at least be intrigued. Some people go into great depth with their book reviews, analyzing characters and themes and messages and meaning beyond just what's on the surface. Whereas like myself, as a booktuber, I like to keep it as surface level as possible. I don't like to go into spoiler territory when I'm reviewing a book. I like to share how the book made me feel and what that experience was like reading that book. Just providing information to you so you can make the decision whether you want to read that book or not. Rather than telling you everything, I want you to experience the book as fresh as possible, without any preconceived thoughts and assumptions going into a book. Now let's get to the point of the video. Regardless of how you review a book, or the book reviews that you watch on YouTube, I believe a book review is never finished. It's never done. Just because you finished a book doesn't mean you stop thinking about it. Maybe some people, maybe the book was so bad that you're just like, okay, I want that gone. I don't want to think about it ever. I don't think I ever stopped thinking about books that I've read in the past. If I loved it, if I hated it, maybe if I was in the middle, I still think about it every now and then. I did a ranking video recently where I ranked all the books that I read in 2025. And I said in the very beginning of that video, this is not definitive. This is not set in stone. If I say I loved a book, or if I said I hated a book, that can change. Because books will come to you at certain times in your life. You may receive it really well, or not. But then you give it another try, years down the line. Or you'll think about it. You'll be like, that book I didn't like. You know what? And then you're kind of thinking about it. You're kind of evaluating it. And you give it another try. I also play a lot of video games. And I'll look at video game reviews. You know, you got IGN and GameSpot, all the big companies. When they review a game, they give it a definitive score out of 10. And then they're done with it. They move on. And that's it. That score is set in stone for them. Whereas there's folks on booktube who have their top 10 fantasy books of all time, or top 10, book series of all time. And I've noticed, like Mike's book reviews, he'll update it every year. Like, hey, this is as of 2025, my top 10 favorite Stephen King books. Because you'll always read new books. And those will replace something else in your top 10. Or maybe you reread a book that you once loved. And then you're like, dang, it's a dang good book. That's actually better than this one. So you move it up a bit. Or vice versa, you move it down. It's a living, breathing list that never ends. I love the act of reading a book. Experiencing the story from beginning to end. But I think the older I get, the more I enjoy just sitting next to the book, thinking about what I just read, sitting with my thoughts and how I feel. That's happened almost every chapter with Lonesome Dove. Past couple nights, I could only read one chapter because there's just this knot of emotion and feeling within me. I can't help but put it down and think. I enjoy the freedom of sitting with a book long after I finished it. If you are a follower of my channel, you will know Name of the Wind is my favorite book of all time. I read it, I think, 5-6 years ago now. When I finished this book, I didn't think, oh my gosh, this is the best thing I've ever read. Nothing is going to top it. This is my favorite book of all time. No, it was the months and years that pass. I just couldn't stop thinking about it. Memories of the many moments in that story would resurface, and I'd be brought back. I began to appreciate it more and more than when I first finished it. I'd have conversations about it with people. Then I'd compare it to everything else I was reading at the time. Compare the writing style and the word choice. And it got a hold of me, thus becoming my favorite book of all time. My point is, it didn't happen overnight. Wheel of Time. That was a 2-year journey. Lonesome Dove. I'm on month 4, and I'm barely halfway through it. These books, I just take my time with them and soak it in. These have been some of my most cherished experiences in life, and I want to give them the time and respect they deserve. I don't want to jump on these hype trains that the internet throws on you. What everyone else says about these stories and whatever is trendy and popular. And that's the beauty of reading and experiencing these movies and shows and games. I get to just take my time and develop my own taste, compare and contrast, and really see if this is something I like or don't like. Again, my point is, a book review, a game review, a movie review is never really done when you close the last page. When you see me review a book, and I say it's good or bad, or I loved it, or I DNF'd it, that might change over time. That is the beauty of reading. The journey before the destination.